Hello, this is Howard, the Teaserking, coming to you with Week 2 NFL picks for teasers. My analysis and thoughts so far. Generally, with all these new quarterbacks, very hard for them to win. They don't know how to win in the NFL. It's a faster game. You've got to be careful picking them. They're just not ready for it. It's going to take them a couple of weeks. Robert Griffith beat New Orleans, had a big day, give him credit, but he was the only one that did it. This week he's a road favorite. Good luck. There's no way he's going to win this one. What else do I look for? All the coaching changes. Greg Schiano, the Rutgers coach at Tampa Bay, playing Giants football. We're going to run and we're going to play defense, pressure the quarterback. That's what he did to Cam Newton, and they beat them. Without Schiano, last year's coach, Tampa Bay had no chance to win that game. But with him, they did good, and keep your eye on him. It's the coach. He knows Josh Johnson's a terrible quarterback. He'll run the ball with the Boise State runner, and they're going to play tight defensive games. Looking at this week, Week 2, I look at my trends. I look at my teaser trends, and that helps me look at the first thoughts. So if we look at what's a teaser trend, well, it's how they play the other teams. So let's look at a game that I really have a lot of high trend in. It's Cleveland at Cincinnati. Now I know Cleveland's got Brendan Whedon, and I know that it's risky, but he's played the game, and he threw 4 picks. But they played close. They had good defense, and they picked Vic 4 times. I think this will be a low-scoring, running the ball, play defense type of game for Cleveland. The first trend I look at is head-to-head. In this series, the dog, the last 10, has won the last 10. In a teaser, not straight up, and we don't care about straight up. That's the first trend. In Cincinnati, the dog is 9-1. Cleveland is 8-2. The dog in the series is 10-2. All this points to a very close game. Take the dog. Now here's the most amazing trend I've seen. Cincinnati since 2006 as a home favorite. If you bet against them in a teaser when they're a home favorite, it's 25-3. It's an 89% trend. Since 2008, it's 16-1. Cincinnati at home, for God knows what reason, does not blow out. They barely cover. Just bet against them when they're home. So you have a double here. You have Cleveland in the series plays well. The dog plays well. You have Cincinnati at home as favorite, plays terrible. They never blow out a team since 2006. Okay, Andy Dalton. Well, look at Andy Dalton. Look at him. Look, 2010 and 11, 9-0 if you bet against them as a home favorite. Last year, 5-0 as a home favorite. Since 09, 15-0 against them as a home favorite. All these teams point to it. Let's look at Cleveland as a road dog since 09. Cleveland's 19-4 as a road dog. So they play on the road very good. And they're playing Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. And they're a strange team because they're also 19-4 if you bet against them as a road dog. Which tells you Cleveland plays close games on the road. Cleveland has a good defense. And they don't have, Whedon might be a good quarterback, but let's keep in mind he doesn't have Justin Blackman on his team. And Justin Blackman has a way of making everybody look good. So you've got to keep that in mind. Cleveland's receivers aren't very good. Trent Richardson, he's not going to do anything. They'll just block the line on him. He had better talent at Alabama he's got at Cleveland. So, yeah, they'll try to run the ball a little bit more and play defense, but right now he should not be starting at quarterback. I think it's a joke. But I think they'll play a competitive game. Very highly played here. Let's look at the Philly-Baltimore game. Philly's 3 points over Baltimore. I can get Baltimore 9 points. Yeah, thank you very much. That's a huge bet. I mean, Baltimore gets 9. Let's look at a few trends here. Now, there's no I can't do a trend Philly against Baltimore because they don't play each other every 3 or 4 years. So we look at Baltimore. Since '09 as a road dog, 12-2, 86%. We look at Philly as a home favorite. They're 12-8, 60%, 14-6 against them. Philly doesn't play that well at home for whatever reason. It's funny. The Giants are a terrible home favorite. Philly's a terrible home favorite. Dallas doesn't do anything as a home favorite. I just think it might be the division they're in. They don't get the blowouts. They play close games, and they don't really cover a lot as a home favorite. Ideally, Baltimore is the best home favorite in the league. Since '09, they're 21-3. Now, they're playing for Art Modell. Okay, great. And more incentive. But I look at this game dead even. I can have Philly +3. I don't trust that. Baltimore can easily win. They're running the ball with Ray Rice. Flacco, I do not like, but he's okay. And their defense looked very good against Cincinnati. And Michael Vick, I don't know. He's throwing 4 interceptions against Cleveland. What's he going to do against Baltimore? I get 9 points in Baltimore. Thank you very much. I put it with Cleveland. Thank you very much. Now the other thing that I'm looking at, teams that off of a loss. Now Green Bay beat Chicago yesterday off of a loss. A little surprised they had to use trick plays to do it. That's not Green Bay style, when you got to use a fake field goal to do it, but that's okay. So they scored 16 points on the Bears. Green Bay's offense does not look good. But the point is, teams that off of a loss, how do they come back? The better teams off of a loss, New England, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, even the Giants, Dallas, after a loss, these good teams, they generally win or give you a great effort. So I look at what good teams off of a loss. Okay, Green Bay. But I'm talking good teams, not bad teams, because bad teams will continue to lose. So I look at New Orleans. I look at Pittsburgh, and that's probably the only other ones. The Giants off of a loss. And that's really it. There's really no really good team off of a loss. Just bad teams lost. So Pittsburgh's laying 6 to the Jets. Pittsburgh's not as strong as a home favorite as you would think they are, but they're very good at it. They're 19-5 since '09, and they're 17-7 against. We look since 10. Pittsburgh is 13-3 as a home favorite, 81%. 2010 and 2011. And against them, 9-7. So basically, Pitt's a very good home favorite, very good after a loss. They play the Jets here, and they're gonna, Sanchez isn't that good. They got a lot of gift touchdowns last week against Buffalo. This isn't Buffalo they're playing. You're going to have Pitt at home after a loss. It's not Peyton Manning. It's Sanchez. Good luck, Jets. Pittsburgh's laying 6. Cut them to even. Very easy play there. Next game is Detroit at Frisco. Frisco's laying 6. I'm going to give you some trends, and you'll figure it out who to bet right away. Last year, Frisco, 18-0 versus the spread. They're already 1-0 at Frisco. Had them as a lock last week. Frisco's 12-2 as a home favorite since 2010. 29-6, 83% if you just bet them in a teaser. If you bet against them, they're 8-6 and 23-11. There's nothing there. Even from '09, they're 17-4 as a home favorite, 43-8, which is 85% in a teaser. You don't want to bet against them. There's no money to be made there. Detroit, road dog. Since '09, 15-6, 16-5 against, 76% against. But let's look at '10. They're starting to get better. They're 10-3 as a road dog, 27-7, 80% overall, 8-5 against. They used to be a great bet against team when they were lousy. Now they're getting good. So This is what the trends do. The trends tell me, hey, wait a minute, this is moving. All of a sudden, the team to bet, San Francisco, Green Bay, the Bears, it tells you get away from certain teams. And the common denominator with this is always the quarterback. When Minnesota had Brett Favre, and they covered and covered and covered. They were the best team. You just took them. Without Brett Favre and his Kristen Ponder, who I don't like at all, I find that now you bet against them. Since 2010, they're 28-6 against, 85% against. This is what the sheet tells me. This is Bible here. This sheet tells me who am I taking. Right here, I got them all broken out. I play against home favorite, home dog, road favorite, road dog, the team, and the yellows, what the trends are. So basically, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. I know who I'm taking. I know who's hot and who's cold. So the play there is San Francisco. They beat Green Bay. Detroit going to the West Coast is usually lousy. Yes, they got Kelvin Johnson, but if Frisco could shut down Aaron Rodgers, they'll shut down Matthew Stafford. And that's a big key to it, is you watch them against other good quarterbacks. If you can beat Tom Brady and you can beat Peyton Manning, you can beat Drew Brees, you beat all the good quarterbacks. This is what the New York Giants do. They're very good against Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Their weakness is a team that can run, like Dallas, like Philly, like Washington. That's why they don't do well, because in their division they can't beat any of the teams because they all can run on their defense, and that's the key to beating the Giants, is run it down their throats. The Giants have all these defensive ends playing the defensive line. They can't tackle. So you want to beat the Giants, you run the ball. And that's what Dallas did, and that's what Philly does, and the whole thing. So that's the key to them. New England could not run the ball. Let's look at New England real quickly. Now, not in the numbers. I don't like them laying 14 this week, although they'll probably cover. I like Jeffrey Demps from Florida. This kid's a 4.2. He was great at Florida. Super fast. He'll fit in fine. I think they'll hit him with swing passes, and he'll run for miles. He'll be a key once they get used to him in the season. They've also drafted a bunch of defense. They look a lot better against Chris Johnson in Tennessee. This is not the week to bet them. Arizona's a very good team. They got a very good defense. They just had a quarterback look out, and Kevin Cobb I think will be okay. But this isn't the. I don't like Arizona. The spread's too high. If it was about 10, I would take New England down to 4. But I don't like playing more than 7 in the pros. And Arizona is not a bad team at all. Now here's the problem this week. Oakland's a road favorite over Miami. I can't take Miami. Tannehill is terrible. I don't like him at all. I can't trust him. But Oakland off of Monday night as a road favorite, forget it. Minnesota's favorite at Indy. Minnesota's ponders nothing. Minnesota should not be favored in the game. They can't beat anybody. But Indy, as much as I like Andrew Luck, is just too young, and there's not there. Again, I would automatically have taken Indy as a home dog, but I can't play it with Luck until he gets better. And he's good. He's the #1 pick. He'll be all pro. But you just got to get used to the timing and get to the receivers and running. You've got Dallas 3 over Seattle. I would automatically take Seattle 9 in a heartbeat here. Again, Russell Wilson. What am I going to do? He played okay at Arizona, but he's not going to be that good that quick like he was in the preseason. This is the regular season. You're playing the starters. It's the different ball game. The preseason's a joke. So therefore, how can I play Russell Wilson at 9, but I can't play Dallas as a road favorite? They're a joke as a road favorite. Tony Romo can't handle being a road favorite, so I got to watch that one. And that brings us to the Monday night game, the game of the week, Denver at Atlanta, Peyton Manning. Now, I'm going to give you a stat on this game that will justify my picking Atlanta. Since 2010, Atlanta, home favorite, 14-1. Atlanta overall, 28-7, 80%. You can't look at a trend on Denver because this is Tim Tebow, not Peyton Manning. All right, let's go back to 2009. Atlanta, 19-2, 90% as a home favorite. 14-7 against, and Atlanta's 39-12, 76%. Atlanta is a home favorite. You do not bet against. And yes, I think Peyton Manning will keep them in the game, but at the end of the day, I think Atlanta's offense is just too much for Denver. They're not at home with the Mile High. Yes, I don't like to bet against Peyton Manning, especially when he's a dog. I think he'll do well. I think this will be a closer game, but at the end of the day, I got to look at the trend. I got to take Atlanta. I get 3 points. Try to get 3.5. Yeah, it's one of these games, but I think Atlanta covers. Now the other teams who have lost, that's a real good team in week 1, is New Orleans. New Orleans is 2 over Carolina. The initial trend on this is you play the favorite in this series. The favorite's 11-1. New Orleans is 9-1 in Carolina. This is normally a New Orleans play. They're good in Carolina. They're good. The favorite in this series wins. The problem is there's no coach. Okay, New Orleans lost to Washington. They're going to give maximum effort, but without the coach, it's just hard. This is a game I have to watch. I got to see how good New Orleans is going to be this year. I think Tampa showed how to beat Carolina. You just pressure Cam Newton. Don't let him run around. Can New Orleans do that? I don't know. The coach is gone for the offensive side. It's a game to watch. We'll see how New Orleans gets, but normal New Orleans, I'd be all over this game, but without the coach, you'll be very careful with them. And the last team that lost is the Giants, laying 7.5 to Tampa. Here's Tampa's a road dog, 12-3 since 10, and 19-5 since 09, 79%. Here's the stat that blows my mind. The Giants, home favorite since 2010, 9-7. Bet against them, 11-5. The Giants overall, 24-13, 65%. The Giants do not cover. The Giants, since 09, 13-10 as a home favorite, 57%. 18-6 against, 75%. The Giants do not cover as a home favorite, showed against in Dallas. Will Tampa be able to cover them? The Giants, off of a loss, should be good here. This will be a very close game. There's no way they're going to blow them out. I like Greg Schiano. He's going to play defense. He's going to run it down their throats, and that's the weakness of the Giants. However, if the Giants can get a lead, Josh Freeman is a terrible quarterback, which could go into a blowout here. So I'm not going to play Tampa here. I just don't like Josh Freeman, but I don't trust the Giants. They are not a good home favorite. They are a great road dog playing Green Bay, New England, playing the teams with the quarterbacks. That's when you bet New York. Not as a home favorite against a running team. That's their weakness. Basically what you try to do is get each team's weakness and strength. You compare them. How do they do against Tom Brady? How do they do against Peyton Manning? And you see if they got killed against them, then you back away. And each team's got their personality. So that's what I look at. So that's what we're looking at this week. And again, it's watch these young quarterbacks. There's too many of them too fast. I don't know. I don't find that you can trust them yet. Maybe about 5 or 6 weeks into it, they'll get used to it. They'll get more timing with their receivers. They'll know the offense better. They'll be able to read the defense better. They're just not there yet. Now, the one that is there is Kellen Moore. He already knows how to read all this, but he's behind Stafford. So you keep an eye on him in a year or two. And the last thing I have to say is if I'm Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, Tennessee, I would be making a trade for Chase Daniel from Missouri. He's the second quarterback behind Drew Brees, and I guarantee you he's much better than any of those guys. And they win a lot more games with Chase Daniel than they're winning with who they got. Just my food for thought for these GMs who don't know how to GM. Well, Chase Daniel doesn't have to prove it. He proved it in Missouri, and I don't get why they don't watch what they did in college. The guy's a winner in college. He's going to be a winner in pro, i.e. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, winners in college. I don't know why they don't get drafted so early. And then they look at a guy because he's got arm strength. He's not a winner. He's a loser. He's not going to do anything. Josh Freeman, Ryan Leaf. These guys aren't winners. They're not going to do anything. Andrew Luck, he's a winner. RG3, yes, he's a winner. He'll do well. I question Curtis Ponder at Minnesota. Tannehill at Texas A&M. I question these guys. They're just not good quarterbacks. Jake Locker at Washington was, yeah, he didn't win a lot of games there. Why do you think he's going to be good in the pros? He can run around. I mean, that's not what you want in a quarterback. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on the NFL Week 2. Good luck to you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Go to my site, www.teaserking.com. You can email me here, leave me a message, and I'll get back to you. And let me know if you have any questions on any games. Good luck. You'll make a ton of money this weekend. We're red hot the first 2 weeks, and we look for more of the same this week. All right. Have a nice weekend. Take care.